Let me ask you this, because I've always, because she's caught a lot of criticism online, and I want to hear your expertise on what she's trying to say, Ayesha Curry, because when she says that, man, I didn't really see myself as a wife. I was like, in this career, I'm going to be this entrepreneur. I'm going to be this. I don't think she's saying she don't want to be married. She's upset that she married Steph Curry and has this beautiful family. But what can you deduce from what she's trying to say?
What I heard, which is exactly what you said, nothing more or less. I just heard her. I heard her being a woman with a voice, and it's kind of when you said, "How come women can have preference but men can't?" Right? From your experience in the world, and I can see that.
Yes.
I don't believe that to be true for me, but I can see that perspective societally with the constructs. When a woman speaks out against the societal norms of a woman being domesticated or being a wife or being a mama, then she sounds ungrateful for having this wonderful husband who's providing and taking care of her, because that is most women's dream. Right? But there are other women like myself, right? And probably her too, from what she said, that their dreams are not limited to a position of a wife or a mother and to just being this person's wife. And where I do understand her is that I told God early on in my years, I said, God, I would love to marry a man of affluence and a man who does well. But I don't want to be known as, let's just say, Shannon's wife. I want to be known as, like, this is Shannon Sharp, and
this is Dr.
Bryant hyphenated Sharp.
Oh, you gonna keep your last? Oh, so you will hyphenate the last?
Okay. I mean, I've already built this thing.
Okay. I was just checking.
And this is his wife, and people go, "Oh, I know exactly who you are. You're the one that produced, or you're the doctor next to you." Or if I introduce myself, "Oh, that's Shannon. He's a Hall of Famer. Like you did your thing. We love your show." Power couple.
Okay.
Right? And so I see her saying that she wanted to have what he had the luxury of having. He has a wonderful career and he has a wonderful family. She has a wonderful family. How come she gets deemed for saying, but I want to have the same equality as my husband?
Right.
All I'm saying is love being a mama and a wife, because she's obviously doing a damn good job.
Yes.
Obviously.
Yes. Kids are great.
But how come I can't also want...
Why can't I have both? He has both. Why can't I? Why I got to be relegated
to... And he has both because she sat at home and allowed him to build one.
Right.
And she built the other that she is allowing him to also take credit for.
Right.
Because we know he's been on the road. Not that he ain't been a great father, because I love Steph Curry. But what she's saying is I should be able to, now that my kids they're of age, the kids look kind of grown to me.
Right.
Go create what I want. And she did try. She started doing magazines in the past and covers.
I think she got cookware.
Yeah. She tried.
Right.
And so I think there's nothing wrong with her saying, look, I have aspirations too, and I'm not going to take away from what I've already been excelling at, but I'm also excellent at other things.
We had two young men, black men, Kyron Lacy and Marshawn Nealon. And we kind of briefly touched on it, not those guys specifically, but mental health in the black community. Do you think there were signs that these young men were dealing with something? It come to find out, I think the police in Louisiana said something about he caused an accident that cost someone his life, and the reports about he was about to get indicted, and it was just overwhelming. Nealon just scored his first touchdown on the Monday night game, and then all of a sudden his girlfriend is calling frantically saying he's going to end it. He's going to end it. With the black athletes and mental health? Because I think now more guys are getting more black. Let's speak to that because this is our community. Are starting to get in touch with their emotions. Starting to get in touch. Not as much as probably more need to, but we are starting to see that shift where black men are not so rigid. Like, man, I don't need. I'm fine. My daddy didn't do it. My grandfather didn't do it. What do you think caused the shift? And how can we prevent the Marshawn Nealon and the Kyron Lacy situation? You
said something really, really primal. You said that back in the day, black men would just pretty much shove their emotions down, right? And they would not allow them to come up. So they didn't have to see them or face them, which means they didn't have to feel them.
Right.
The suicide rate was way lower then. The suicide rate is high now because you just said black men are getting more in contact with what? Their emotions. That emotion that's tied to trauma, that emotion that is tied to pain. And when that comes up, they have to feel it and they have to face it. And when there's no place to dump it or place it, then they eat it. And it internalizes. Anything that we internalize at some point is going to externalize in some form of action, whether it's them ending up in jail because they beat the shit out of somebody, domestic violence, which is a big one in sports, especially NFL, or suicide, unfortunately, right? Or deep depression. And so I think that what needs to happen is what I am so honored to be able to provide, like I said, with the Steelers and the Browns, with the players, a safe space where I am allowing them to not just feel what they feel, but externalize it. And I'm holding space for that. And I'm helping them feel it and understand what those emotions are, and also teaching them what to do with those emotions. For example, there's one of the young players has some emotions around his family using him. And there's some addiction involved and different stuff, right, within his parents. And he has a lot of emotions behind that about him being used. But he also has emotions behind him saying no because guilt comes in, right? Because there's a sense of, in the Black community, entitlement.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to take care of my family no matter,
Absolutely.
even if they didn't help me or do for
Yeah.
me. You know, otherwise I'm looked at as what? The sellout or the dude who didn't do nothing for no one.
Right.
And so he's dealing with the duality of I'm being used and it feels horrible, right? To be taken advantage of by my parents who did nothing for me, but I feel guilty when I say no. So what I mean by helping him is helping him identify those emotions and then teaching him how to set boundaries that help him regulate his emotions. See, boundaries are not for people, they're for us. And they are emotional regulators, which says, look, mom, dad, I'm going to give you this amount a month. That's all you get. After that, him and I are still working on what? The guilt that comes from when they ask for more, him saying no.
No.
That may sound like a small problem to people, but to your point, that small problem to us puts that boy in a dark space of depression. And if we don't see that sign as big because it's small to us, that suicidal ideation can turn into the act of suicide.
Manifest.
And depression turns into suicidal ideation. And so my job, and I feel like it should be all of our jobs, I mean, every human, because mental health is a human right, not just a one race or gender right, but especially within our Black community, is what I said early on. The check-ins need to be deeper than just, you good? When you know they're not good.
Right.
Stop asking people that. What's going on with you? Talk to me. Or talk to somebody else. I'm not leaving until you talk. No, I'm going to sit here until you express something. I'm going to call you. I'm on my way. Well, let's take a drive. Well, let's go have coffee. Let's go have tea. Let's watch a movie. Right? Those things have to be where we show more care and compassion.
Right.
I have to do it with the guys. Them guys sitting there, and a lot of them are just like, you can tell it's at the tip of their tongue. And I'm still pushing and pushing and poking. I even sometimes appropriately confront them and say things that are completely rude and off that I know will trigger them. Because if I can trigger the emotion to come out, then we got it to be externalized. I just need it to come out.
You need them to verbalize.
We need it to come out. And I need you to know it's okay. So we have to start creating safer spaces for our loved ones. And loved ones don't mean someone you live in a house with or you love. I'm talking about you see someone on the street and you're just a loving person that looks like us. The check-ins should be there. When I see a man get off the plane with a cane and he's a Black older man, I have waited next to him until his wheelchair came and said, I'm gonna wait with you. And he goes, you are? But that's just me checking in with this older Black man because you're here with nobody. So I am responsible as a Black woman to sit here and make sure you are cared for because I'm gonna take on that responsibility. And that little waiting for him made that man's whole year.
Yep.
He kept looking at me and he goes, you're just an angel. No, I'm a human that's trying to do shit right.
Right.
And I respect my elders. And I would want someone to do it for my father or my grandfather or my husband.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do it for you. So we have to do them check-ins. You said, were there signs? There's always signs. And I'm not blaming the loved ones. I promise I'm not. But we do have to be accountable because I'm telling you, we see signs. We are too busy to get involved. Or them in the same thing he's been doing for the past 4 or 5 years. He been doing that since he was 13. But he been dark since he was 13.
Right.
And you've been doing the same thing you've been doing since he been 13. Just letting it do what it does. Letting him get back on the football field. And you know, because you play ball, a lot of these kids, especially these Black kids, I'm learning from working with the NFL so close now from a mental health expert standpoint, The black boys don't have supportive families. They have entitled families. You, not saying you had an entitled family, but you had a family that you took out of poverty. So you get it. I'm not saying they were entitled, but you went back and still gave it to them as though it was your duty. And I'm not saying it wasn't, but you did that like it was your duty. These black young men, Shador is an anomaly.
Yeah.
He is an anomaly. A very blessed young man to have that, okay?
Yes. Yeah.
Those boys don't have that. And I'm calling them boys because they in their 20s, they 22, they think like boys, they making decisions like they don't have that support. And the NFL needs to do a better job, which they are. Thank you for having me be a part of your doing better job with mental health, of having the me's in there, and the ones that look like me in there to help these young men. Because see, I represent more than just Dr. Bryant to them. I'm black and I'm woman. I represent their mama who they never had. I represent their mama who using them right now. I represent sometimes the mama who abused them. I represent the mother who they despise, who they are resistant toward. And when they get a different experience of me being a black woman, it changes everything in them. And the way I'm able to love on them, the way I'm able to pour into them and not judge, but hold space for them is what they need.
Want to join Club Shay Shay? Become an official member by hitting that subscribe button, where you never know who's going to be joining us for drinks and conversation. Don't be late to the party because you know we like to do something before two something.